Fun today, isn't it, Archie? What a beautiful sunny day anyway. You didn't even want to come out today, did you, Arch? We're not going that way, hon. It's too wet that way, too muddy. Just stick to the streets. He wasn't even bothered. I should have just left him on the bed for another hour because he was perfectly happy. But I wanted to get it over and done with. So we're just going to have a short walk this morning. God, it's relentless. Just quite heavy rain constantly. Got to keep going until somebody has a poo though. And it's not happened yet. Come on, Arch, let's go. Get you around here. My favourite routes are all a bit waterlogged, and the quay, don't fancy going down to the quay today. Come on, stop eating grass. I don't think this boy is quite himself. He's had a slightly limp, which I don't know where that's come from, and just didn't want to go out this morning. And he's not eaten much the last few days either, so I hope he's not sickening for something. Don't need a sickly dog. Arch. So, good job I've got my big duvet coat on, which is quite waterproof, just because it's so many layers of it. I've just been thinking about whether I'm going to do a no spend January or not this year. There are some things we need to be doing to the house which might mean that no spend January is going to be a no-no, but I could do a no spend January apart from things we need for the house, I guess, but I don't know. I'm going to think about it. Anyway, when I get home, I'm going to go through just the benefits of a no spend January. I've done it many times and it's really very good for your finances. Oh my goodness, absolutely soaked. So, what was I saying? I've got water dripping down my nose, all over my glasses. Archie's soaking, I'm soaking. Although I was saying that this coat is waterproof, it's showerproof, it's not waterproof. And they say there's no such thing as bad weather, just unsuitable clothing. And I think that was the case today. I do have a really long, completely waterproof coat, and I should have put that on when I saw that rain, but I didn't. So now I've got to change my jumper because it's come through where my bag goes across my shoulder, like a tent touching the side. When you touch something in the side of a tent, it leaks, doesn't it? It's come through there, all down my sleeve and my trousers. So I'm going to go get changed before I can talk to you about a potential no spend January. Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Vlogmas 20. Woo-hoo-hoo! As you can see, I'm back home now. I had to get completely changed. It was just a good opportunity to stick another Christmas jumper on, really. I had to get completely changed and warm up, take my trousers off and everything. I was absolutely soaked through. So I'll learn. When I take him out later, I'll put my big long raincoat on just in case. It's actually stopped raining now. I'm looking out the window now. Oh no, it hasn't stopped. It's still drizzling. It's going to be one of those days, I think. Anyway, I've got my Christmas mug, nice cup of tea. Warming myself up a bit. And I've got to do day 20 of my Advent of Change calendar. So today we're supporting Winston's Wish. Today you funded a memory box enabling a grieving child to treasure special memories of someone they love. Oh, that's really a lovely idea, isn't it? A memory box. That's really nice. Day 24 is trying to pop open already. Not time for you yet. Advent of Change calendar. Anyway, when I was on my very wet walk, I mentioned I was thinking about doing a no spend January. I still haven't decided whether to do one this year. I went through about 4 or 5 years where I did a no spend January every single year, and it has a lot of benefits, but you don't want to set yourself up for defeat. So there was one year where we were doing an awful lot of spending. I knew we were going to be doing a lot of spending, so I decided to do a no spend February instead, and I did that instead. This year I might just do a very low spend January because I know there are things. We're decorating this room next and there are things I'm going to buy. Not that much, so having said that, I've already got the paint. Got most of the paint. I might need a bit more white paint for the ceiling, and there will be bits of furniture that I want to upcycle, so I'll need to get bits and bobs for that, and maybe a new coffee table or something like that in here, but it won't be new, it'll be from Facebook Marketplace probably, or the charity shop. So we'll be spending something. It might not just be January, it might go through the year really, because when you buy second hand you have to look out for bargains, don't you? You don't necessarily find them instantly. But there are a lot of good reasons if you're feeling the pinch, and if you're feeling particularly like you have overspent over Christmas, or you didn't have a chance to save up for Christmas and you've had to put it on your credit card, and you want to start the new year on a positive financial note rather than feeling anxious about money, then I have found an absolute rule of a no spend January can be really, really beneficial. And because, you know, I say I'm doing a low spend January, but it's a bit vague and woolly, isn't it? If you say I'm not going to spend much this month, then what's much? You know, that's different for each of us. Whereas if you have an absolute rule and you say I'm doing a no spend January, and that can be something you then say to people when they're trying to give you reasons to spend money. Like you might have, I don't know, friends saying, oh, come down the pub, we want to go out for a meal, or let's go to the cinema. And you can say, no, do that next month. I'm on a no spend January because I am saving up for, I'm paying off Christmas, or whatever you're doing, whatever reason you feel you need to do it. So you've got an absolute rule, and I found that helpful in the past. So it just is an opportunity to kind of regroup, have a breath, look at your finances clearly, and get some money back in, so you're not just spending. You can actually start to use some of the extra money that you don't spend on just this and that, on maybe paying off your credit card debt, maybe paying off other debts, maybe putting towards savings. Maybe you need an emergency fund, for example. If you haven't got an emergency fund, you need to really have at least £1,000 in your emergency fund. And it could be that you can start doing that if you have a good month of no spending in January. And, you know, apart from the sales, and there are January sales, although they tend to be mostly in December now, you know, what is there to spend money on in January? It's a good month to do it. It's kind of dark, you don't want to go out a lot, and the weather's horrible, and, you know, it's a really good time to do it. That's if you're in the UK. So if you're somewhere like Australia, you're probably thinking, oh, there's lots of nice summer things to do. So if you're in the UK, it's quite a good, cold, dark, boring month. So it's a good time to do it. I think I've found with me anyway, that it kind of makes me just rethink my spending habits generally. And if you have a bit of a spending addiction or a shopping addiction, then just cutting it, just saying, right, just for this month, I'm really cutting it down to the absolute bare minimum. It can just kind of help, you know, retrain your brain, or, you know, restart your brain when it comes to money. I also think not buying stuff can make you appreciate more what you've got already, what you already own. So that's another benefit really. And my rules for no spend January are different maybe to other people's. I know some people literally buy nothing, not food, not anything, but you have to pay your bills, obviously. You have to pay your rent or your mortgage. You have to do those things. Those are a given. Personally, I do buy groceries, and I buy things like fuel, but I don't spend money on anything that's not essential. So I wouldn't go to the pub, go to the cinema, I wouldn't buy clothes, I wouldn't buy any new books, anything really like that. So I just would say no. And that includes my book group. So whatever book we decide to do in January, if I'm doing a no spend month, I would have to make sure that I could borrow that book from the library. So those kind of things just makes you do things differently, as I say, makes you just have a more frugal mindset, which could perhaps take you through the year and give you benefits for the whole year, the whole of 2024. So when I'm doing a no spend month, I completely ignore the sales, and this is why I think it's going to be tricky for us to do a no spend month, because I really want to look at carpets in the sales. The carpets upstairs were horrible when we got here, and because they were kind of already tatty on the edges, the cats have ripped them up. They do that anyway. So I'm not going to spend a lot of money on carpets because I don't want them to be ruined, but I want to get them in the bedrooms at least and do something with the stairs. So I want to have a look. So maybe that's a bit of an investment, but it would be, other than things that are kind of essential for the house, it would be a low spend month for me, I think. What else did I want to tell you about this? Yes, well, the next thing would be, how do you do it? How do you do it? Where do you start? I would start by unsubscribing from any newsletters. I always say this: if you're trying to change your spending habits, you know, you accidentally or deliberately sometimes sign up for newsletters. Sometimes they give you money off your next purchase and that kind of thing for retailers. Unsubscribe from all of those, because they'll be sending you tons of stuff in January trying to make you buy, because it's their very quiet month, so they need you to put your hand in your pocket. I think, you know, if shopping is something you do for fun, then try and find yourself a new hobby. Think about, you know, what else can you do? Have you got some craft things that you've had lying around you haven't got round to doing? Have you got a half finished project? Have you resolved to take a bit more exercise? You don't need to join the gym. You could get out and have a run or a walk or a cycle using equipment you've already got, hopefully. You know, dig out those books that you've been meaning to read, or bring out your old CDs if you, like me, still have CDs, or even your old DVDs if you've got a DVD player, and watch them. You know, make good use of what you've already got. If you pay for Netflix, watch stuff on Netflix. You know, make a cinema night of it. Watch some of those films you've never seen. Just really use what you've got already. You could maybe look at some of your furniture and think, oh, this is something I can start to think about upcycling, so I don't have to pay for anything new as the course of the year goes on. So those kind of things are worth doing. Sorry about the washing machine shouting at me, telling me it's finished. What has to whistle at me? I don't know. The other thing you could do is shop your wardrobe. So it's a good time for a wardrobe reorganisation and potentially declutter. Go through your wardrobe, see what you've got, start to wear some of the things you have. So if you have any sort of New Year's events that you're going to, then, you know, wear something you already own. Anything that you don't use or don't wear, you could maybe stick on Vinted or eBay or Depop, or just sell somehow. And you could do that with the rest of your house as well. This is actually something we were talking, me and Izzy, when we did our video the other day. I said I haven't really got any New Year's resolutions, but actually I have. One of my resolutions is to go through every cupboard in the house and completely declutter it. Get rid of some of the stuff that's in there that just never gets used. It's literally just taking up space. So either sell it, maybe do a car boot in the spring, or donate it to charities. So that is what I'm going to do, and it's a good thing to do during a no spend month. Have a really good declutter, and if you have the opportunity to sell something, then that will help pay off your debts as well. You can also set some finance goals. So I mentioned emergency fund already, but maybe you also want to put some money away for savings. Perhaps you're saving for something specific, a holiday or a home, or a, you know, whatever it is. Maybe you're putting money away for your kids' university fund or something like that. So although a no spend January is not going to enable you to do that in one go, it will kickstart things. So you can then set up a regular savings withdrawal from your account when you get paid. The other thing I do with food, I don't entirely exclusively eat from the pantry, but I do that a lot. So I meal plan with what we've already got, try and use up anything left over from Christmas. Try and look at things that have been hanging around the back of the freezer for a while and see if I can incorporate those into meals, and have a generally low spend grocery month. So that's something you could do. I think it's very, very difficult to do a completely no spend month as far as groceries go when it's not just you, when you've got children, because they are like a plague of locusts, aren't they? They go through everything and they constantly need feeding. Same with animals, you know, they're going to need feeding whatever. You can't expect them to eat a can of chickpeas that's been in the back of the cupboard since 1978. So, you know, you've got to be realistic about it, I think. So meal planning is really important, I think, for that. It really helps you to incorporate those more unusual ingredients, and you can Google. There's so many good recipe sites now. I really like BBC Good Food, but you can put in a couple of ingredients and just see what comes up and what inspiration you can get to use some of those ingredients that have been hanging around a while. Anyway, so it looks like I've talked myself out. I'm not going to be doing a low spend January, but I'm going to be going for a low spend January. But as I say, there are so many benefits. So if you think, you know, you're feeling a bit anxious about money after Christmas, then consider a low spend January. Anyway, that is me for day 20. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see what I come up with in the future. And I will see you for Vlogmas day 21 tomorrow. Bye for now.